I needed a major break after smack talking Quest for Camelot for 20 minutes straight. So, to rectify this, I decided to put on a movie that I've adored for so long. My all-time favorite movie, the 2000 Disney classic, The Emperor's New Groove. Directed by Mark Dindal, who also directed Cats Don't Dance and Nothing Else of Importance, it's a prime example of a comeback story. Reason B, it's one of the incredibly rare examples of how a disastrous production can still result in a damn great movie. Originally made to be a more dramatic musical called The Kingdom of the Sun, the fact that we got this screwball comedy full of the most iconic jokes in all of Disney is such an odd thing that you just gotta appreciate. However, losing Snuff Out the Light was definitely a sad one, being Yzma's villain song, which was removed solely because it ultimately didn't fit the story of the revised film. Seriously though, check it out, it's amazing. Either way you slice it, The Emperor's New Groove is a film that I'm happy is getting the recognition it deserves. The late 90s to early 2000s animation scene has many overlooked movies. For Disney, there was also Atlantis the Lost Empire and Treasure Planet, which may have been caused by being overshadowed by the amazing Lilo and Stitch, which was also released between them. While DreamWorks had The Road to El Dorado and Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, which got overlooked due to the rise of their 3D films like Shrek. But now, here we are. After over 25 years, Kuzco and the gang will get their well-deserved spotlight. So for my birthday gift to me, let's go through this wonderful piece of cinema and go through how much I love this classic. To start us off, we get a narration from our lead character, Kuzco. He's talking about him once being an emperor before being turned into a llama, and lying through his teeth about him being the world's nicest guy while being emperor. Setting up what kind of character we have off the bat before we even get to see him as emperor, that he's this lying, narcissistic guy. Not to the dismay of the film, however, as we see in a minute or so, he's a prime example of how writing a jerk character can be done right. Which, if you've seen my videos long enough, you should know how I feel about main characters who are detestable without any charm. Now that we finally see Kuzco when he's emperor, he is a spoiled egomaniac without a concern for everyone, either from his kingdom or even within the palace. And the whole groove aspect of the title is evident, where he's so self-centered he has to have a dance party for himself every morning, and anybody who disrupts the flow, well...
No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
God, I love the comedy in this movie. It's evident as to why he's this way, as even from when he was a baby, he got overwhelmingly what he wanted in spades. Speaking of spades, his charismatically nasty way couldn't have been executed better than by his actor, David Spade. When I say this cast in general was pitch perfect would be a major understatement. And in Spade's case, he has the perfect voice for his sarcastic wit, making any genuinely awful thing he says and decisions he makes seem so nonchalant to him, and so expertly acted that even though he says and does these things, you can't help but smile because he's so genuinely funny that anybody who fills in for Spade in other projects don't really sound right. Where lines like this, where he is instructed to pick a bride, completely slay me.
Let's take a look-see. Hate your hair. Not likely. Yikes. 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 And let me guess, you have a great personality.
And wouldn't be the line delivery that it could be without Spade. Promptly thereafter, we get our secondary lead, Pacha, a down-to-earth but overall loving man who's the leader of his village. He's received a summons to the palace to meet with Kuzco. His soft but powering delivery by John Goodman gives this movie the well-knitted heart it deserves, especially when it comes to helping Kuzco's development. On the flip side, we are then swiftly introduced to probably the best characters in the movie. First being Kuzco's advisor, Yzma, a frail and cunning old woman who's been in the family for decades and has her eyes set on becoming the Empress herself. And Kronk, her loyal henchman who's a strong idiot with a heart of gold. These two serve as the antagonists of the film, and the rapport they have with each other is nothing short of fantastic, with Eartha Kitt letting out all her outwardly crazy and lively side for Yzma, while Patrick Warburton is the perfect fit for this strong dolt in Kronk. At the time, having Patrick Warburton as Kronk was seen as a really well thought out casting, but what followed was other studios decided they wanted to have their own Kronk, effectively making their castings of Warburton as buff idiots as dumb by comparison, with a few exceptions of course.
Oh, that bee is living my life!
Let it go, Kenny.
When will this nightmare end?
Not only is he bringing out the idiotic side, but he's also really great at seamlessly conveying his sincere and heartwarming side to the character, which makes him an instant fan favorite. Now, the scene in question would probably be the only thing people can reasonably agree with early Kuzco on, as Yzma is filling in for him and making decisions behind his back, which at that point was a pattern which he promptly fires her for. After she storms off, Kuzco meets with Pacha and promptly tells him his home and village will be destroyed and replaced by a summer getaway as a birthday gift to himself. Of course, Pacha being angry about this, Kuzco had him thrown out. Cutting to Yzma where she's bashing busts of Kuzco when the idea crosses her that she could simply poison Kuzco and rule in his place.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
I mean, how can I not talk about this specific line when talking about this movie? I haven't even mentioned her original plan, which leaves me in stitches.
I know. I'll turn him into a flea, and then I'll put that flea in a box, and then I'll nail that box to myself, and when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer!
A factor I haven't mentioned yet about Yzma is that she's a potion maker. So a poison would be a cakewalk, right? Well, that's where things get complicated. When they actually invite Kuzco to dinner, first it was Kronk being so preoccupied with the dinner portion of the plan that he misremembered which drink was Kuzco's poison drink. Which, by the way, I must know the recipe for his spinach puffs, they look amazing. Because of this crucial mistake, he had to mix all 3 drinks, and the 2 had to not so cleverly dump them, as Kuzco drinks his poisoned wine. Of course he didn't die, but instead he would transform into a llama, which we saw in the beginning. And I really love the gag of when Yzma dumped her wine into a cactus plant, it also turned into a llama. After a swift hit to the head.
What? A llama? He's supposed to be dead!
Yzma orders Kronk to dispose of him permanently. After Kronk dumps him down a waterway, which leads to a huge drop, he's encountered by his angel and devil on his shoulder, who argue instead of actually helping, which leads to more great lines.
Reason number 2. Look what I can do.
But what does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
Making the decision himself, Kronk saves Kuzco from death, but trips on some stairs, drops Kuzco, and he lands on Pacha's cart, which Kronk also loses. I'm shocked I haven't even talked about the animation just yet because I love this style so much. The Emperor's New Groove, even back from its Kingdom of the Sun days, always had this angular design to the human characters, having some inspiration from the statues and artwork of the Incan Empire, which is weird when they call this film Mesoamerica in the film, because that's in Central America and not Peru, but I'll let that slide because it's a comedy. Either way, the style looks great and gives the film a much more unique look compared to the other films they had at the time. And when the film shifted from dramatic musical to off-the-wall comedy, it gave the animators so much freedom to go outlandish with the characters' expressions and movements without the usual limitations of the Disney style. Another admirable thing about the visuals are the backgrounds. The palace and the environments that Pacha, as well as some of the others, go through look wonderful. And the film has some small bits of CGI that don't feel intrusive and some wouldn't even notice at first glance, like Pacha's cart. Anyways, as much as I would like to talk more about the animation, let's get back to the story, where Pacha's walking all the way home, processing and accepting that he and his village would have to lose their homes, as we meet his family and he sits outside, contemplating how he's going to tell everybody how they're going to leave.
Hi, excuse me. 2 seconds here.
Now, people are really split on this scene. On one hand, Kuzco has been narrating for a good amount of the time he's not on screen, so it makes sense for him to amplify that by literally pausing the movie to make sure the audience focuses on him. On the other hand, I get the complaint how this is a huge tone breaker, but with that said, it's in character for him and it's funny, so it's not a big issue for me. Pacha eventually finds Kuzco in his cart, and Kuzco sets off to find his own way home, after an argument with Pacha about him moving the getaway somewhere else goes south. Kuzco, of course, being full of himself, his overconfidence got the best of him and he gets lost in the jungle, and he stumbles upon a squirrel. As a kid, I thought they made up the fact that squirrels lived in Peru, but apparently there are squirrels native to there. My guess is Bucky here is a southern Amazon red squirrel. The squirrel offered an acorn to him, but he chucked it back, and he fell into a jaguar's pack's sleeping area. That very same squirrel came back with a vengeance and a sinister grin as he pops a balloon. After a wild chase, Kuzco finds himself cornered by jaguars, but Pacha saves the day.
Don't worry, Your Highness, I gotcha. You're safe now.
I hate you.
First, give props to the CGI team before, of course, we mention the waterfall scene. It is one of the most iconic moments in the film, so of course.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell me. We're about to go over a huge waterfall.
Yep.
Sharp rocks at the bottom?
Most likely.
Bring it on.
After almost drowning, the boys set up camp, and Kuzco, despite having his life saved, was the same when Pacha found him as a llama.
Take me back.
After Pacha helps him from sleeping in the cold, Kuzco decides to suddenly consider the option of building his summer home somewhere else, with Pacha delighted to take him back to the palace. As they head towards the long bridge, Pacha falls through the bridge and gets stuck. And yeah, of course Kuzco wouldn't suddenly decide to be on his side, but after Kuzco falls through with some well-deserved karma, they fight, and the constant movement causes the bridge to collapse, leaving them to fall back-to-back into a crevice where they're under the threat of crocodiles. Pacha gets the idea to use their back-to-back status to their advantage, and despite some hiccups, they were able to get up. Not without another struggle, however. Kuzco saves Pacha from the falling piece of platform, and Pacha couldn't help but notice Kuzco actually did something nice for once by saving his life.
Hey, you could have let me fall.
Come on, what's the big deal? Nobody's that heartless.
Oh, I love that exchange in particular. As they walk off to a restaurant after the treacherous morning they had. For the script's case, I have yet to mention that before the bridge scene, Yzma would announce the kingdom that Kuzco had died and swiftly took over as empress. However, to the dismay of her, Kronk would finally confess to her that Kuzco is alive, so they both set off to find him, and they find themselves in the same jungle where Yzma is getting all the karma in the world. And when I rewatched this scene, I was curious if the bird Kronk was talking about was real, and not exactly. Kronk calls it a
golden-throated small-winged warbler. Just one more for exotic bird bingo.
Which by name doesn't exist today. The closest thing I could find was a golden winged warbler, which is not native to Peru, but there have been some extremely rare cases with them showing up in the wintering period. And considering Kronk calls it exotic, it actually lines up well. Look, I know this was an accident by the writing team, but damn it if it wasn't a fun coincidence. Also, my friend, Candy Moon, the same one who voiced Lucina in my Smash Victory themed ranking, loves warblers, so a shout out to them. Also, my friend Cactus, I don't have a segue to him, but, well, actually, there was a cactus earlier in the film. Who else but Bucky comes back, and it is revealed that Kronk knows how to speak with it, and Bucky knows what happens to Kuzco, and they set off to where he was pointing. As Kuzco and Pacha made it to the diner called Mudka's Meat Hut, Kuzco had the idea to cross-dress as the place doesn't allow llamas, as he and Pacha pretend to be a married couple. As Kuzco is headed towards the kitchen as he was disgusted by the food, which by the way is a giant isopod, but I understand being simplified to be a pill bug, we get one joke. Before finding out Yzma and Kronk were right behind their tails, and Pacha overhears her plan to kill Kuzco. Kronk also heads towards the kitchen as Yzma is also concerned about the cooking, which causes the Mudka's head chef to quit, and Kronk instantly fills in with flying colors.
4 combos, extra bacon on the side, 2 chili cheese samplers, a basket of liver and onion rings, a catch of the day, and a steak cut in the shape of a trout. You got all that, honey?
3 liquors wearing pants, plate of hot air, basket of grandma's breakfast, and change the bull to a gill. Got it.
The interactions between Kronk, Yzma, and Kuzco were great. Both of them are trying to order while Kronk is dancing around, getting a little pissed at their conflicting orders. It also makes me point out how much earlier Yzma brought up that she practically raised him, and you could tell in this scene specifically that their mannerisms are quite similar to each other.
Spuds yes, cheese no.
Hold the cheese.
No, I want the cheese.
Cheese it is.
Cheese me no likey. On second thought, make my potatoes a salad.
As Pacha and Kuzco leave the diner, Pacha tells Kuzco that both of them are there and Yzma plans to kill him, which he doesn't believe, and Kuzco decides to leave him. Usually when there's a third act breakup scene, it's eye-rolling at best, but it's really well done in execution. The reason being is the timing, because Kuzco instantly finds out that her plan was to kill him after all. Like, we're talking about like seconds here, and he immediately loses Pacha as soon as he breaks off. After that, we are back to where it all began. And honestly, this is one of the best jokes in the film.
I didn't do anything, and they ruined my life and took everything I had. Hey, give it a rest up there, will you? What? I'm just telling them what happened.
Hey, remember when being meta in media wasn't overused and obnoxious as hell? We cut to Kronk, who figures out that Pacha was at the diner after all, which led to this meme.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Which I should point out, plenty of memes actually came from this movie. This scene, Pacha's face at the beginning, the angel and devil scene I showed before, and of course...
Oh right, the poison for Kuzco. The poison chosen specially to kill Kuzco. Kuzco's poison.
I'm actually both shocked and ashamed at myself that I didn't mention this scene earlier. Also, there will be another scene that is another meme. That'll show up when we get to it. Kuzco finds and reconciles with Pacha as they head up to his house, where Yzma and Kronk are already there, where Yzma lies saying that she's Pacha's relative.
His third cousin's brother's wife's step-niece's great aunt, twice removed.
Which after, for some reason, I decide to map out because I'm autistic and I take certain stuff too seriously for the sake of curiosity. Hence why I also brought up the animal stuff before. Just my writing style, I just kind of get detours sometimes, and it just happens like that, which happens more than a few occasions in my past reviews. Yeah, just understand it's gonna be a pattern. A bunch of really good gags ensue as the chase begins. I really love the chase scene here. So many great jokes and some creative moments as Kuzco and Pacha were able to outrun the duo. The guys arrive at the palace, and we get a really nice callback.
Okay, why does she even have that lever?
As they attempt to find the human potion for Kuzco, they find out that Yzma and Kronk actually beat them to the lab, and the reason behind this is priceless.
How did you get back here before us?
How did we, Kronk?
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
I can't tell what's more ridiculous. The fact that they beat them despite being impossible, the fact that they themselves can't explain it, the fact that Kronk brought the map that the audience was looking at, or even how he even got it in the first place, or where did he even pull it from? Either way, Yzma is once again asking Kronk to kill Kuzco, but this time also Pacha. When his angel and devil show up, and I love the detail that he only sees them, and the three of them are both confused as hell as to what's going on, which then follows up with Yzma letting out all her frustrations with Kronk, seeing him as incompetent.
And do you want to know something else? I've never liked your spinach puffs. Never!
Where then Kronk uses a knife to cut down a chandelier to stop her from taking down Kuzco, which actually misses, and she sends him down a chute. Now the final fight, as Yzma does everything in her power to stop Kuzco from becoming human, from knocking down all of her potions to the floor, to sending an army of guards after the two, which were promptly turned into animals themselves.
Hey, I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home?
You're excused.
While in their chase, Kuzco and Pacha cycle through multiple potions, and I happened to catch an animation mistake where Pacha is airborne early as they were falling. The duo, as well as Yzma, meet outside of the palace as they fight, and Yzma lands on one of the potions and she turns into... a kitten. Actually, in the original Kingdom of the Sun, her original plan was to revert her age by releasing a dark entity. You would think she would use her potion skills to scale her age back like she wanted, since it's proven to work, but that's not my place to judge. It's laughable how Yzma, as a kitten, shows off as more threatening than a good amount of villains Disney has made, especially in the modern day. As she sends Pacha to drop, I have to mention that he has phenomenal strength. The guy is estimated to be around 6'5" and 250 pounds, and the man fell from like 8 feet and held on for over a minute. A grand majority of guys would have shoulder injuries and tendon tears from that grip and fall, but he's holding on like a champion. And I did the math, he's withstanding around a ton's worth of force. But then you remember he was able to hold on to Kuzco by the tail while hanging onto that branch after the bridge scene. And assuming Kuzco changed into a younger llama would be around 200 pounds, so this actually checks out. As Yzma fights and therefore falls like Pacha, Kuzco gets the ultimatum of saving Pacha or getting the potion, in which he chooses Pacha. Also, Kuzco is ridiculously strong too. A llama, on average, carries 25% of their body weight, and that's from the core strength. 250 pounds of guy from mostly shoulder strength as a llama is crazy for even a grown llama. Didn't expect to learn animal facts from a review of a Disney comedy, right? Trust me when I say I didn't see this coming either. Either way you slice it, Kuzco and Pacha go up a pillar the same way they did at the crevice, while Yzma is saved by an overly convenient trampoline as she grabs the vial.
I win.
With that wonderful timing, Kuzco gets the vial and drinks it. Cut to the end of the film, where he apologizes to the old man he had thrown out the window, as well as Pacha, in which Kuzco apologizes by not building the summer getaway, but instead a small shack on the barren hill next to Pacha's hill, and they celebrate the summer together as a full family. While on the other hand, the redeemed Kronk is leading a bunch of scouts, in which he, as punishment, enrolls kitten Yzma into it. Yeah, is there any surprise about how I feel about this movie? The Emperor's New Groove is an all-time classic. With the best comedy of any Disney movie, phenomenal voice acting alongside a great cast of characters, wonderfully stylized animation, and the best redemption arc in any Disney movie by far. All resulting in being, above all else, my personal favorite Disney movie of all time. I'm genuinely saying this, it could very much be my favorite movie, period. So it's no shock in the slightest that it's getting the channel's first 10 out of 10. Or at least in terms of long-form content. Thanks to everybody who stuck around this long in the video, even through my weird ramblings. And I'm happy to have this time to write, voice, and edit a video about a film that I've loved for over 20 years. And with that, we can only go up from here. Actually, that's a complete lie. Any film that I talk about now would be worse than this. We've actually kind of really hit the peak too early. Oh well. Thanks for watching, and happy 26 to me.